Hello there and welcome back to my channel. Y'all know I am Team Google Slides. I think it's a fantastic tool for teachers because it's free to use, easy to learn, and can be used in so many different ways. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 10 of my best Google Slides hacks for teachers to help you take your slides to the next level. We're going to jump right into it with hack number 1, add timers to your slides. And I know what you may be thinking, Michelle, how the heck do I add a timer?
Do we know how? I don't know how.
Well, you can add timers as video files to your slides. So here's an example of what that would look like. This is great for independent practice, or if you're doing rotations with your students, it just helps you, not lose track of time, which is easy to do in the classroom. So I could create this slide where I detail out the assignment I want my students to work on. I tell them what to do if they finish early, and then I have a timer. So this one would be for 30 minutes. When I actually present the slide, that video timer is going to automatically start counting down, starting at 30 minutes. So let me show you how to do this. First of all, if you are interested in these slide templates that you see me using, I do have them available for purchase in my TPT store, which I will link for you down below. They do include the timers. They have 1 minute, 2 minute, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30-minute timers already included, and you get the video files of the timers as well, so technically you could insert them wherever you would like. But in order to insert a timer, you're just gonna come up to Insert, Video. From here, if you already have timer files, such as the ones included in my slide templates, you could just insert them from your Google Drive. But if you don't have any, you can actually search for them on YouTube. So for example, I could type in 5-minute timer and then select one that I like. They have a lot of different fun backgrounds. Mine are just plain black and white because y'all know me, I love my black and white, but they get super fancy as well. So once you find one you want, just select it, click the blue select button, and it's going to insert it in as a video. Of course, from here, you can resize it as needed, so you can make it maybe a little bit smaller. You can drag it around wherever you want on your slide. But I do want to bring your attention to the format options. Over on the side, you have video playback. It's already opened up. From here, you can choose to play on click. That means if I go into my slideshow and I start playing it, the video file is not going to start counting down like the one you see down in the corner right now. Instead, you can choose when you want to start it by clicking the play button on the video. This might be helpful if you want to review directions before having the timer actually start. But I'm gonna escape from present mode and reselect that video. If you do want it to automatically count down, just to make it a little bit easier, select the drop down and choose play automatically. That will cause it to automatically start playing down. You also can adjust the time that the video starts or ends. You also can choose to mute audio. So personally, my timers have the last 10 seconds, they turn red to kind of alert you that it's gonna go off soon. And then when the timer ends, there is a little bell sound. If you don't want that sound, you can choose to mute the audio. Let's move on to hack number 2, which is to add music to your slides. There's actually 2 different ways you can do this. You can insert just an MP3 file. In order to do that, you would come to Insert, choose Audio. From here, you can search within your drive for audio files, but I don't know about you, I don't have a lot of music files, hanging around, not since my LimeWire days when I was a teenager, but another way to add music to your slides is through videos as well. So let me show you how to do that. Just like before, we're gonna come to Insert and choose Video. My favorite way to add music is just by adding YouTube videos. So I might search for classical music. I'm gonna find one that I like. A lot of these are like really, really long, so it's great to have on as just background music while students are working.
Wait a second, are you listening to music?
Classical music for autumn. That sounds wonderful. I'm going to select it. Once again, click the blue select button, and it's going to insert it as a video. Now, some of these have nice little backgrounds of fall leaves or fires or aquariums. And if you want your students to look at that, great. But if you want to bring their attention to the directions or the timer video you already have on the slide, because yes, you can insert multiple videos on the same slide, I want the music to play, but my students to not even know that there's a video there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shrink this down basically as small as I can get it to go. That looks pretty good. Then I'm gonna zoom in so it's a little bit easier and I don't lose track of it. I'm going to drag it so it's all the way in the corner and kind of out of the way so my students won't even notice it. Now, a little hack for you. The video does need to be at least partially on the slide, okay? Here's what I mean by that. I could have just this little tiny sliver maybe down in the corner that is still technically on the slide. If the entire video is off the slide, it's not gonna play. But as long as a little sliver of it is somewhere on your slide, it's going to play for you. So I have it right now just in the bottom where barely any of it is on the slide, so you wouldn't even notice it. Then I can have it play automatically. When I start the slideshow, it's going to start playing the video, which in turn is going to start playing the music. I'm gonna make sure my sound is up on my computer. The audio may not sound great for you because I'm recording this, through my computer and also through my microphone, but let's just see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and start the slideshow. You'll notice that timer video starts playing down just like normal, and then we should have some classical music that starts piping in. There we go. Yeah, it may not be very loud for you, but it is there, it is playing, and that is a great way to add a little bit of either background music while students are playing or kind of sound effects that maybe match what you're doing. If your students are gonna write a short spooky story around Halloween time, you could have some spooky music or spooky sound effects playing in the background. So it makes it just that much more engaging for students, and it's super easy for you to do as the teacher. Hack number 3 is to create a table of contents. I have shown this before on my channel because I'm a huge fan of having clickable links within my slides. That save me time. I don't have to scroll through hundreds of slides. Instead, I can just click in order to go to the exact slide I want. So I'm gonna show you a few different ways you could use this hack. First, let's say at the beginning of the week, you go over like a weekly schedule, almost like an agenda page for your students so they know what to expect. From this slide, maybe I want each day of the week to link to the slides I'm going to use for that day. So I could link these Monday slides to my Monday morning work slide that I'm gonna have up when students come in the room. So let's say this was the first slide in my slideshow. Whenever I open up Google Slides, it's gonna come to this slide. I might not wanna scroll all the way to Friday. So instead, I can link the slides. So I'm gonna just highlight the text that says Monday. I'm going to right click and I'm gonna choose link. From here, I could link to websites and other documents. We're gonna come back to that. I'll show you how to do that as well. But I can also link to slides in this presentation. I do have the option to link to the next slide or previous slide, but also specific slides. Keep in mind, if I were to choose next slide, and then I were to add another slide after this one, it's gonna link to that new slide rather than the original one I linked to. So personally, I rarely choose next slide or previous slide. I like to choose the actual slide number because even if, so right now, this is slide 3, so I link to slide 3. If I were to add in another slide, so if I were to just add a blank slide right here, this is still linking now to slide 4, so it updates as the numbers update, so just keep that in mind. But I personally don't like how it changed my text color to this weird turquoise teal color and it underlined it. Not a fan of that. So I'm gonna go in and I'm going to click the underline button so the underline disappears, and I'm going to change the teal to a nice white color, just like I had it before, but it is still linked. So now if I present my slideshow, so let's say I'm going over my weekly schedule with students, I can then click in order to go to Monday and it will link directly to that slide. Another way I love to use this was creating Google Slides for an entire unit. So let's say I'm doing a multiplication unit in math and it's gonna comprise of 8 different lessons. I want them all to be in the same slideshow, but I wanna easily be able to get to the exact lesson I need that day. So I would always create a table of content slide where I would list out lessons 1 through 8, and I would link each one to the corresponding first slide for that lesson. So let's say lesson 1 is gonna start with my objective and the vocabulary. I'm gonna come back to my table of contents. Once again, I'm just going to click and drag in order to highlight the text that says lesson 1, right click, link, And okay, I'm gonna go into full screen mode. This happens sometimes. This is a smaller screen on my Mac, but that way I can see the full thing. Slides in this presentation, and I want it to link to slide 5. Once again, I can change the text color by highlighting it, unclick the underline, and I can make it black again. But it is still linked, even though it may not look like it. When I go to present my slideshow, I can then click where it says lesson 1 and it will take me directly there. Now, I mentioned that you can also link to websites or other files within your Google Drive. So let's say on the actual lesson 1 slide, I have this spot about vocabulary and we're gonna discuss the area model. Maybe I have a set of notes. So over here, I'm gonna come to this Google Drive folder. I have this set of area model notes. I wanna be able to click the words area model and have it linked to this image of the notes about the area model so I could open it up and review it with students. So what I'm gonna do in my Google Drive, I'm gonna right click on this file and I'm gonna choose Get Link. It's gonna open up a little dialog box and I'm going to copy the link. I'm gonna click done because I no longer need that. I'm gonna come back to my Google Slides. Once again, I'm gonna highlight the text, right click, choose link, and I'm going to paste the link right up here at the top, click paste, and choose apply. Now, just to save time, I'm not gonna change the text color, but just to show you what this would look like, if I am presenting, I've introduced the objective to my students, we wanna review the area model, I can click it, it's gonna open up another tab, and it's gonna have that image already opened up so that I could review it with students. But this also works for PDF files, other Google Docs, things like that. So real quick, let me show you what it would look like with another set of Google Slides. Another way I would use this is linking to a set of slides that I'm going to teach from that are maybe separate from my daily slides. So maybe I have this welcome slide that I just update the same slide every single day with the objective for the day, the warm-up reminders, and so on. I want to be able to link this to another set of Google Slides where I'm going to actually teach from. So maybe here I'm gonna select the word agenda, I'm gonna choose link, and I'm gonna come over to the other Google Slides that I want to link to. I'm gonna choose share, I'm gonna copy the link, I can go ahead and hit done, come back to the original Google Slides, right click, paste, just like before, click apply, and now that is linking to another set of Google Slides. So when I click on it, it will open up that set of Google Slides. Hack number 4 is to add an outline to text. So this is one of my biggest gripes with Google Slides until I figured out how to do this. In PowerPoint, you can have a fill color for the text, but also a separate outline color. And I didn't think you could do it in Google Slides until I discovered word art. Now, I have shared about this previously as well, so it might be a review for you, but just in case you didn't know, I can add word art in Google Slides, just like you could do in PowerPoint, by coming up to Insert and then selecting word art. From here, I'm gonna type in the text that I want to be word art. So let's just use the word science. Whenever you are done, go ahead and hit enter. If you want multiple lines of text, hold down shift and then press enter and you can keep typing. But I'm gonna hit enter to insert that word art. Now, here is hack number 5. We're kind of jumping ahead and then we're gonna come back to hack number 4. Hack number 5 is to hold down shift when resizing. That is going to keep the original ratio of the size intact. Here's what I mean by that. If I just start clicking and dragging, notice I can make it really skinny like that, or I can make it really tall like that. If I want to preserve that original ratio and keep the proportions the same, if I hold down shift on my keyboard as I click and drag, notice it's keeping the same proportion. So if you don't want the text to get stretched out, hold down shift as you are clicking and dragging to resize, but you can also do that within the format options. So if you click format options, come over to size and rotation, make sure you check the box next to lock aspect ratio. And then if you resize it, so maybe I want it to be 10 inches wide, it's going to automatically update the height to be the same ratio as before. But coming back to hack number 4 about adding the outline. First of all, let's change the font. I'm not a huge Arial fan. Let's go Poppins Extra Bold, nice and chunky. That looks great. From here, I can change the fill color of the text using the paint bucket. So maybe I'm gonna do a green fill. And then I can change the outline color right next to it, the border color. Maybe I want a nice black border, and I can change the thickness as well. So I can click this button with the different lines, and I could choose maybe 4 points. And I can even change the style of the outline. So I could make it be like a dotted line. So this is great if you're gonna create like tracing activities for your students, or you wanna show them where to cut for things, you could use that option there. So that was hack 4 and 5 kind of all in one, but keep in mind, holding down Shift not only works for word art resizing, but also image resizing as well. Hack number 6 is to create a force copy link. If you have ever purchased any of my products that include Google Slides, you may have seen this one before. When you would click the link, it would prompt you to make a copy to save to your Google Drive. I'm gonna show you how to do that. So if I want to create a force copy link, I'm first gonna come up to the share button, but I can do this from within Google Drive as well. Then under general access, I wanna make sure it says anyone with the link can view. Do not change it to editor, leave it as view, because you don't want them to be able to edit the original if they were to go in and manipulate the link. So I'm gonna leave this as is, and I'm gonna go ahead and copy that link. If I just paste the link as normal in my new tab, and I go to it, it's just opening up the Google Slides and they would just have view access. In order to prompt them to create their own copy, you're actually going to paste the link, but you're gonna come to the end and you're gonna highlight all the way through the word edit. So you want to highlight everything that is past that last slash. So it should be edit question mark USP equals sharing. You wanna highlight all of that and you wanna delete it, backspace it. Then you wanna type the word copy. There we go. Now with this new link, I'm gonna highlight the whole link. If I enter it, it's going to prompt someone to make a copy in their own Google Drive without being able to manipulate your original. So once again, just to show you one more time, you take that original link, you come to a new tab, you're gonna paste the link, but you're gonna backspace until you get to that slash, type the word copy, and then that will prompt them to make their own copy. So this is great if you want to be able to share resources maybe with colleagues or friends, but you want them to have their own copy without being able to manipulate yours. Hack number 7 is to crop an image to a shape. So when you insert an image, of course you can crop it, like if it's a square, you can crop off the sides or the top or the bottom, but you also can take that square image or rectangular image and crop it to another shape. So let me show you how to do that. You wanna start by inserting an image. I'm gonna use an image that is from my computer, and we'll just use this picture of me because that's what I have on my computer. Notice it is a square image. With the image selected, I'm gonna come up to the crop button and I'm gonna click the little arrow next to it. From here, I can select any of the shapes that are available within Google Slides. So if I want to crop it to a circle shape, I can select the circle and it will automatically make it a circle. But I can do that with any of the shapes available, so I could make it this lightning bolt shape, whatever you want it to be. So here's another way you might think about using this, because obviously it's just a fun way to kind of add interest to your slides. But for a more academic application, I'm gonna delete that picture. And this time I'm gonna insert an image from Google. So I'm gonna choose search the web. Let's say I'm doing a lesson where I'm talking about needing to change solids to liquids by adding heat, and I wanna have a visual representation of this. I could search heat. Maybe I insert this picture of the fire. I'm gonna choose insert. And I want it to be an arrow because I wanna show how the solid changes to a liquid with the application of heat. So I'm gonna choose the little arrow next to the crop button, and I'm gonna come down to arrows, and maybe I choose this right facing arrow. Now, as I show the solid changing into a liquid, I'm showing that it's through the application of heat. So that's just kind of a way that you could maybe use it within your instruction. Hack number 8 is to link to a specific slide through Google Keep.
That was very confusing.
That probably sounds confusing, so let me explain. Whenever you have a Google Slides, it's full of tons of slides, and yes, you might have the table of contents, but let's say you have 50 slides for a lesson and you only got through 40 of them. And the next day you want to be able to pick up where you left off and you're worried you might forget, or you don't want to have to scroll through to that specific slide. You can actually create a Google Keep note with your Google Slides open and it will link to that specific slide. So let's say I want to link to this morning meeting slide. So the next day, all I have to do is click it and it will come to this slide, not just this presentation, but this specific slide. What I'm gonna do is open up my sidebar. So that's the little arrow down at the bottom if it's not already showing. And I'm gonna come to Google Keep. It's the little yellow icon with the light bulb. And it's gonna open up my Google Keep notes. I want to take a new note. So I'm gonna click take a note. Notice it doesn't even matter what I type here. It has automatically linked to that set of Google Slides. So I might just say tomorrow, because this is where I wanna start tomorrow. I can click done. I now have my note, wonderful. If I come to a new tab and let's go to my Google Drive. So the next day I'm opening up my slides. I'm like, oh, I gotta open up that morning meeting slide. I can come to Google Keep and I can do this from the full screen Google Keep as well. And once it loads, all I have to do is go to that actual note that I created. So I'm gonna go down past my pinned notes. I have a lot of pinned notes. Okay, here was that tomorrow note. I'm gonna click it. Here are my slides. When I click it, not only does it open up that set of Google Slides, but it is going to go directly to slide 8, which is the slide that I linked it from. So it does take a second. It's kind of loading all the slides, boom. And then now it is on slide 8. So that is a great way to go to a specific slide or to help you remember which slide you left off on. So in order to do it, you do want to make sure you have that specific slide selected when you create the Google Keep note. Hack number 9 is to create custom substitutions. So this is like an autofilled text. It's a great way to be able to save yourself time from retyping the same things over and over again. So I'm gonna come to this slide. I know whenever I would create an objective, I would always start it with, today we will blah, blah, blah. Instead of typing that every single time, I can create a little substitution for it, a little shortcut, if you will. So I'm gonna come up to Tools and then choose Preferences. From here, I'm gonna come over to Substitutions and I can create my own substitution. So I wanna start with the abbreviation or what I'm gonna type in order to create that longer version of text. So maybe I'm gonna type TWW for today we will. This is a short example, but you could do this with any length of text. I'm gonna type in today we will. And now if I click OK, within this text box, if I type in TWW, click space, it automatically replaced it with the text today we will. So if you find yourself typing the same things over and over again, whether it's certain formulas for math or certain symbols that you use, you can create a substitution. That way you can easily insert it in and save yourself some time. And finally, hack number 9 is to make slides available offline. If you are worried about losing internet access and not being able to get to your slides for the day, don't worry, you can actually make them available offline. So in order to do this, you're gonna come up to File, and you're just gonna select Make Available Offline. Depending on how many slides you have, this may take from a couple seconds up to a couple of minutes, but you will notice up here at the top, I now have this little See Document Status. If I click, it tells me this document is ready for offline use. So even if I lose internet access, I can still use all of my slides. When the internet access comes back, it's going to make any updates. So if I made changes to my slides while it was offline, when the internet comes back, it will save those changes and they will then be available for future use. That is it. Those are my 10 best Google Slides hacks for teachers. If you have any other ones that I forgot, please leave a comment down below, share your knowledge with us, because I know not only I, but all the other teachers watching this would love to know. If you are interested in grabbing those editable Google Slides templates, which by the way, are 100% editable. So you can add, delete, change colors on every element. Nothing is locked down. They're completely editable and they do include those timers as well. I will leave the link for you down in the description box. If you did enjoy this video, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. As always, thank you for watching. I love you so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on and I will catch you in the next one.